If you want the highest limit approvals for business funding that you can possibly get, watch the entire video. If you want to maximize your business funding, it starts with the personal foundation. My team and I, what we've done is we've compiled a video where we're giving you 4 years of funding advice within the span of 1 hour. I've been in the industry, the credit industry, doing this for nearly 4 years at this point. So if you can give me your attention for 1 hour, you're going to have a great personal foundation, which is going to be a byproduct to get you the best business funding. So watch this video, take notes, but most importantly, take action. Enjoy the video. But watch an entire video because we're going to talk about a card that I recommend that y'all should get, especially if you're just starting. I know sometimes we fix our credit or we already have our credit where it's supposed to be, but we don't know what cards that we actually want to get. So I'm going to give y'all like a starter card that I think y'all should go ahead and get. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get straight to it. Well, no, before I share my screen, just because it's bigger right now. So we're going to talk about the Discover It card. I want y'all to get the Discover It card. It's a good card to have. Let me share my screen and we're gonna get straight to it. So we're on my favorite website. My favorite website that y'all have access to. So this is Google. Google. You can ask it whatever you want to ask it. You know, we got AI like ChatGPT, all that. You can literally use ChatGPT to figure out what cards you want, but I know some people they need step-by-steps and stuff. So this is what you want to do. Anybody could do it. You don't even have to want to apply. This is just how you're gonna do it. Discover let's just say Discover It pre-approval. You could do Discover. If you're a student, you like a little kid. I don't think we got little kids watching my YouTube like that, but you could get the Discover It student card. So if you go to Discover It pre-approval or you Google it, you see they have the student card right there. Risk-free pre-approval. That's Capital One. Okay, so if we click on this, you see it says see if you're pre-approved. So this is going to be a very simple video. I just want y'all to Google, go to Discover It, and look, it's literally right here. See if you're pre-approved without harming your credit. So how you going to do it? Number one, you're going to make sure all your stuff is good. You want to make sure you have no negatives, no collections and all that, right? So make sure your Experian is good. Because in most cases, they're going to pull Experian. So make sure that's on point. You're going to put your name, you're going to put your address, date of birth. Are you a student? Okay, no. Or yes, you are. You know what I'm saying? And then put your information. It's really that simple. And y'all saw I have the gold one. I think they allow you to choose what color you want. Mine just happens to be gold. And then look, the most important part, this won't, oh, I don't know why I did all that. I guess it looked like I was trying to submit. But it said this won't impact your score. Oh, I think the check now is the same button now. I was trying to highlight that this won't impact your score. So literally, you could do a pre-approval. When you do the pre-approval, it's basically no harm to your credit. It's going to be like a soft pull. A soft pull is like you looking at your credit. So then it's going to tell you like, okay, you have odds of getting approved or you don't have odds of getting approved. Typically, what I've seen when we help people get that Discover It card, people get anywhere from like $3,000 to $8,000, $3,000 to $7,000 approval. So depending on how your profile's set up, you're going to get what you need to get. I'm going to be honest. When I applied for it, I had over a 700, like way over a 700. So I recommend that you have at least a 700 on your Experian, but minimums, I'd say like maybe 680 or something. The score doesn't always matter, but the score does matter in the sense that if you have negatives, your score is probably going to be low. You know what I'm saying? So this is just a card I want y'all to go ahead and apply for. You know, just on the funding. If y'all want me to put more videos out on funding, let me know. You can definitely use Bank Branch Locator. That's a resource I give to my mentees and that I use personally when I'm getting people funding. It basically allows you to know all the banks in the world. So Google Bank Branch Locator. Don't be asking me 9 to 5 questions in my comment section where you can literally Google, right? You have access to Google. I have access to Google, right? So go ahead and Google it. Google Discover It pre-approval. Go ahead and apply. If you're a student, there's a good student card you can get to get yourself started. Very simple video. Just follow the instructions. Let me know your approvals down below. If you get denied, there's something called the reconsideration line. You can call that line and be like, okay, can I see why I didn't get approved? And, you go from there. And when they send you your denial letter, if you get denied, now you know what you need to fix. Then you go reapply. A lot of these things with credit is just common sense. It's just a lot of y'all lack common sense. So I'm here to tell you about it so that you can focus on acquiring common sense if you lack common sense. So yeah, hopefully this video was helpful. Go ahead and let me know y'all approvals, your limits, all that. With that being said, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share it with somebody. Don't just be watching my videos selfishly and you're not sharing it with your family. You're not helping no one get to the next level. This world is about impact. We all not going to be here physically forever. So leave your mark. Continue to help us at CAT reduce crime rate through the education of these consumer laws, credit, getting funding, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. So with that being said, y'all have a blessed one. So this is how we're going to do it. Number one, you're going to get a Navy Federal checking account. How do you get into Navy Federal? So you're going to call them. And if you haven't heard before, you're just basically just going to, you could basically say you have someone that, you know, served in the military, it could be your grandpa or whatever. And I think I forgot what the number is called. It's like I think it's DD 214. It's some thing that they may ask you. So they may ask for that. If they ask for it, then you can just hang up and call again. You can say like I don't have record of it. I don't have record of him or whatever. And if that doesn't work, you know, you can hang up and call again. Just it's one of those things where you just got to be consistent. And what I know is like I got a Navy Federal in 2021, so I know it's different now versus, you know, then. But I know people are still getting into Navy Federal. I've heard some people like, oh, you know, it didn't work as far as like getting into Navy Federal. They hung up, call again, try a different day. You know, they just kept going. So it's just like a life lesson. You just got to keep trying, keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. So, like I said, do not apply for the card right away. That's not what you want to do. Do not apply for the card right away. You don't want to do all that, right? You do not want to do all that. So you're going to establish a relationship for at least 90 days, right? And one thing with Navy Federal, too, as far as how you can get in, you don't technically have to do what I said because what I said is not legal advice, by the way. So if you know someone that has a Navy Federal account, you can get their access code and you can get in that way as well. But what I'm saying is just for entertainment purposes, you could do the way that I said. But yeah, establish a relationship for at least 90 days because you definitely want to establish a relationship. But how do we establish the relationship? One way you could establish a relationship is literally making transactions in and out. When I say that, what I did was I would be taking, you know, part of my paycheck because I was working a 9 to 5 when I was in Navy Federal, when I first got it, when I was establishing the relationship. So this is how I did it. So just for y'all information. So I got in February and then I applied right away. I got a baby limit for I think I have the card right here. It is no, that's not it. I might have it here. But I got a baby limit basically. Okay, I got it here. So I got the Go Rewards card. I don't know if it's gonna focus. Okay, Navy Federal Go Rewards card. So I got a baby 5K limit to start. I mean, I have a higher limit now, but I got 5K only to start. And I had a, you know, really good credit score and everything. So I was kind of confused. And then I learned over time, like I said, after I invested $3,500 into myself for mentorship, I understood the importance of building a relationship. So don't apply right away. How do you establish a relationship? Like I was saying, have money going in and out. So, like I said, it was February. I applied. I got my 5K card. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna mess up again. I want the what's it called? The cash rewards, the green one. So I established a relationship until May. So February to May, that's basically 90 days, right? How did I do it? The way I established a relationship, like I said, maybe I'll take a couple bands, send it over to the Navy Federal checking account. You could also open a savings account and just have money, just have transactions going. An additional thing that I did, which I think was really important, it doesn't have to be permanent. But what I did is I set up my direct deposit to go over to my Navy Federal checking account because I just was telling them I want to make y'all, you know, my primary bank and that kind of thing. So I want to establish direct deposit. So I have my paychecks from my engineering job going over to my Navy Federal checking account. So that was basically transactions going over there for like 3 months and basically just showing them like I'm serious about y'all. So once that happened, in my head, okay, I established a relationship, and on paper, I established a relationship. So then, our game plan, you want to apply for the card between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. Eastern time. So it may work, 4 a.m. Eastern time or whatever. Basically, the whole science behind it is that it's going to be an automated system unless you get through. And I say 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern time because that's personally when I've applied and when I've helped people apply. It's always been between those hours. So I'm not saying that if you apply at 3:05 a.m. Eastern time, it's not going to work. It's just that those are the hours of when I've applied. So keep that in mind. Most likely, you're going to get the high limit. It's likely going to be 25K. It's going to be 20 something, most likely, right? If you do what I say, do everything I'm saying. Do step 1, 2, and 3. Don't just do step 1 and then go down to 3. If you do step 1 and 3, you might get a 5K baby limit. So keep that in mind. How could we even make more money, right? Because like I said, everything is about money in terms of life. You want to bless your family, right? So how can we make money based off of this? We can help people do it for them. You can charge 10%. So one of my mentees actually did it for somebody. He helped somebody that he knew close to him, and he was able to get 10%. So that was an easy $2,500 right there. So y'all got to realize like the power of credit is really powerful. So you can help somebody do it for them. You could also do like an assisted process. So you can assist people with the process, but they do it themselves. So it's still like a high level service, but you're telling them to do X, Y, Z. They do it. You can charge 5%. Okay, you got $1,250 from it, but it's better than nothing, right? You gave them the sauce. And then the last thing I want to tell y'all really is you can put out an ebook or a guide describing a process and then you can literally sell it. So, for example, $47 ebook. So I'm big on digital products because I like sleep money. I like waking up to, money in my bank account that I wasn't expect. Well, technically I'm expecting it because we have systems in place to actually make it happen. But I say that to say you could establish that. Go ahead and sell it on. You can sell it on Etsy. You can sell it on Samcart, which is what we use. You can literally sell it anywhere. So just giving y'all ideas. I know 99% of y'all not going to do anything with the information I'm putting out, but it makes it worth it to me to put out the information because I know 1% of y'all is actually going to take action. So if that's you, I hope this video helped you. I hope you can go help somebody else with it. If you already have Navy Federal and you've already got the card, at least go help somebody, right? Because there's something valuable you could take from the video, regardless of if you have Navy Federal and the card already or not. So with that being said, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Comment below, let me know when you get approved. I like hearing good news, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, y'all have a blessed one. If you do not like money, do not watch the video. All right, now that we got people that don't like money out the way, we're going to talk about getting to the bag. I know y'all like money, so we're going to talk about it, right? I'm always telling y'all, these credit unions, they're giving y'all the bag. A lot of people talk about Navy Federal Credit Union. We're not going to talk about Navy Federal Credit Union today. That's not the only credit union that's giving out the bag. So a lot of y'all, you're in a position of, I want to get business funding. I want to get business funding. We need to structure our personal in terms of how it needs to be structured before we go ahead and get that business funding, right? So I'm going to help y'all as far as being able to get a personal card that's going to help you as far as your foundation so you can get the best approvals when it comes to the business funding. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get straight into it. If you don't like money, click off my video. Just letting y'all know right now because we're going to help y'all get a bag. And if you want to show any appreciation, just make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Leave a positive comment if you want, and we'll go from there. All right. How do I get to my thing? Okay. So, make myself bigger. All right, so we're looking at First Tech Federal Credit Union. First Tech Federal Credit Union. This is not as popular as Navy Federal, but I don't want y'all to sleep on it because you can get high limits from them as well. Those of y'all that want to get the business funding, you want to get the best approvals, you need to make sure that your personal is structured how it's supposed to. So let's just talk about structure of personal. So you want to obviously have 100% payment history, right? We want to make sure we have at least 10 positive accounts. And this can include, hold on, let me do this. Oh, that's not working. Just do it like that. So this can include installment accounts. This is what? Student loans, personal loans, auto loans, you know what I'm saying? So all of that, right? And then you also want to have revolving. So this is credit cards. Have a credit card that's at least a $2,500 limit. At least $2,500 limit. But what I'm gonna tell y'all today, you're gonna get a high limit. So don't even worry about at least $2,500 limit. But you want it to have at least 6 months of history before you go for your funding. Hard inquiries. I've said it before. People will say 3 to 4 on each, but they become less impactful as time progresses. As time goes on, I'll take the suggested typing. As time goes on. So keep that in mind too. So it's not as bad as time goes on. So just remember that. So this is like the basic structure of what you want your situation to be like when it comes to your personal credit. So this card is, this bank is going to be good for personal funding if you're just starting off. A lot of y'all have probably seen the video where I said go ahead and get a Discover It credit card. You know, there's national banks, there's credit unions, there's regional banks. So let me just put that real quick. So national bank, example is like Chase, BOA. Regional bank, an example is like KeyBank. It's not available in every state and everywhere. And then national banks are everywhere. And then credit unions. So an example is First Tech, and then Nigga Federal. So just understand that there's different types of banks. So if you're just starting off, they pull Experian. So keep that in mind. And then in order to qualify, so they're located in Oregon. You can be an employee of a partner company. You can be a contractor for a partner company. You can be an employee of the state of Oregon. Or you can join an association. They'll cover like your first year and all that. So let's just look at them real quick. So you go to First Tech Federal Credit Union. They're right here, right? So too big right here. Hold on. So you can become a member. Become a member. Become a member. Become a member. It's loading. All right. So don't be asking me 18 million thousand questions. Just go to the website and then join. So when you join, they're gonna let you know everything that you gotta have, right? You can start your application. And in terms of, let me go back. In terms of how you actually qualify. I think it's back here. Hold on. Let me go back to become a member, and then we're gonna look at the different products that they offer. Credit union for people in tech. So you belong here, The benefits of joining. Where's it at? There's a place specifically where they talk about different. Oh, it's right here in my face. Okay. So, not sure if you qualify. It's easier than you think if you have one of the following qualifications. So, if you work for one of these companies, like I said, if you work for the state of Oregon, if you live or work in a specific county, if you belong to any of these institutions, right? You may still qualify even if you don't qualify within those categories. When you go through the join now, they'll walk through stuff of how you actually qualify. That's where I got the information from the how you qualify and things like that. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's look at some of the products and then we're gonna wrap up the video. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just go to the website. If y'all are in check systems, early warnings, you got bad relationships with previous institutions, go ahead and figure that out. But besides that, you should be good to go. So go to borrow, right? And then you'll see credit cards, personal loans, home loans, student loan refinance. We're gonna look at credit cards because we like them credit cards. We are going to look at those. All right, so First Tech MasterCard. So as you see right here, Choice Rewards World MasterCard. 0% introductory for 12 months, 12 billing cycles. It's important. Keep that in mind. You can do the research or just figure out what you want to get. You're going to get a high limit from this institution. 0%, 12 months as well, 12 billing cycles. You want to get the Odyssey rewards. They got the Platinum too. Platinum MasterCards from First Tech. So just do your due diligence and read. I'm not going to read for y'all. Some of y'all didn't even know First Tech Federal Credit Union existed. So if you one of them poor people in my comments, you just want me to spoon feed you everything, you a grown man, you worried about like, oh, how come you didn't give me this? How come you didn't? The website is here. Those of y'all, you want to be on me about the fact that you don't want to read. You want to be on me about the fact that, okay, you could have gave this information. It's literally here. Some of y'all didn't even know First Tech Federal Credit Union existed. So go ahead, do your due diligence. Giving y'all so many resources. Just watch the funding playlist. Y'all have enough to already have a good enough personal funding, right? Personal funding, business funding, all that. So just do your due diligence. I can't make you drink the water. I can walk you over there. Can't make you drink the water. So you drinking the water is doing your own due diligence, figuring out what's best for you. YouTube is free. Remember that. YouTube is free. So don't harass me. I gave y'all the information. Go ahead and do your own due diligence. So this is First Tech Federal Credit Union. Hopefully that helps. If y'all have comments, questions, concerns, all that, you can drop them. But at the end of the day, remember, you can call the institution. I gave y'all enough information to go ahead and get started. Let me know the approvals y'all getting. Sign up for the account, get you a checking account, and then what I recommend that you do, put some money in there. You can put $50, $100, let it sit there for at least 30 days before you go ahead and apply. I wouldn't personally, you're grown, you can do whatever you want. I wouldn't personally recommend getting the account immediately and then just applying right away. You want to build a relationship. Funding, maximizing your funding is about building the relationship. You got to remember, maximizing your funding is about building the relationship. It's not that you just open the account, now I want to marry you. That's not how life works. You got to build the relationship. You got to take them on a date, all that, right? Taking them on a date is opening the account, putting money in there, letting it sit, letting it season, working on that relationship. So when you work on a relationship, you're maximizing your funding. When it comes to funding, if your max was going to be like 25K, by you opening the account right away without establishing a relationship, you might have cut yourself down to like 18, 15K. So keep that in mind. Work on the relationship. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you got value. Y'all have a blessed one. Welcome back to my channel. Hopefully y'all blessed. Hopefully y'all amazing. Hopefully y'all great. So we're going to talk about getting to the money. We're going to talk about getting to the bag, all that. When I make these videos, I want y'all to make action out of what I'm telling y'all to do. So we're going to talk about the Alliance credit card. So this is one of my favorite credit cards. You see Alliance right there. You see it's my card or whatever. Visa Signature. So we're going to talk about getting that card, because I know sometimes when we fix our credit, we're just like, okay, what do we do? Once we build our credit, like what do we apply for? First of all, just foundation wise, when you get money, when you get a credit card, when you get business loans, when you get lines of credit, when you get funding, you want to make sure that you have a plan. I see a lot of people, right? Over the years I've been working in the credit space, I see a lot of people, they'll get money and then they don't know what to do with it, because you got to think about it too. It goes back to Cat, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cat. It goes back to the values and everything. So everything we're doing is basically about reducing crime rate. So when we educate y'all using these consumer laws to build up your credit, go get funding, all of that, we putting y'all in a position where most of y'all haven't really been in. You get a lot of money at once. It's easy to fumble the bag and mess up the bag. So number one, I want y'all to, before you even get the Alliance credit card, right? I want y'all to have a goal as far as what it is that you want to do with it, because you gotta understand when you're going into it. If you don't go into it with the plan, you're basically planning to fail, right? The notion of if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So same thing with funding. You got to know why you want the money. You got to know how you're going to use the money, all right? Is it going to be for a business? Is it being for building up your credit profile? Because when just like the basics of having a good credit profile, you want to have something where you have cards that are at least $2,500 limit. The good thing about Alliant is, from my knowledge, the minimum you're going to be able to get from them is 10,000. So it's going to be 10,000 and up. I've never seen anybody get anything less than a $10,000 limit on the card we're going to talk about, right? Anybody that I've helped, they've gotten at least $10,000. And I think that's a minimum, if I'm not mistaken. It could have changed, but I don't know. But yeah, do your research. I'm gonna share my screen in a little bit. We're gonna look at like just some points about it. But the main reason why I like the Alliant Visa card is because you can get up to 2.5% cashback. And I believe it's on up to $10,000 each pay period or whatever. But everything else is gonna be 1.5%. So most cards is gonna give you like 1% cash back on everything. So when you talk about something like, oh, 1.5%, 2.5%, if you're just doing the expenses you're supposed to be doing anyways, maybe your rent, maybe your business, whatever, you're gonna be getting free money, right? You could put it back onto your statement. So that's something that I got in the habit of doing. As I get the points, you could just put it back onto your bill as far as what you're paying on the actual usage, right? So keep that in mind. I want it to be very, very simple. So make sure your credit report is straight. It's very, very simple as far as doing what you need to do. They could pull different bureaus. I've had it since 2021, to be transparent. So I believe when I did it, it might have been Equifax or TransUnion, possibly both. Don't quote me. The safest way, just be good on all three. And one thing y'all can do too, one thing I encourage y'all to do, I think they have it on this card too. I'm not gonna show the back of the card because it has the numbers, but they got a customer service number, right? You don't have to have the card to get the customer service number. You can literally Google it. What's the Alliant Visa customer service number? And specifically, this is the Alliant Visa signature card. So literally Google it, right? I'm not here to baby y'all. Y'all can do the research yourselves. So literally Google it. One thing too, I literally gave my mentees what I put as far as applying for it. I'm not saying to lie. I put honest numbers, but the reason why that's valuable is because you can kind of see the numbers that I put and how I was able to get approved. You can see my exact credit score and what it was and how I got approved. So I put that as well as a bunch of different cards in an ebook that I give for free to my mentees in my mentorship program. So that's only available if you're in my mentorship program. It's not available to the public. But that's why I say it's good to invest in yourself. You don't have to get into my mentorship. You can literally get the card approved. You got the good data points. Obviously, you want to make sure you got good payment history. Do not have any late payments. You want to make sure your debt utilization rate is good. So don't be maxing out your cards by the time you're applying. Also, one thing that a lot of people forget to do, I know sometimes when people put a freeze on their credit report, make sure all your stuff is unfrozen, right? If you're cleaning up your credit, that's cool. Whenever you're about to get funding, though, you have to unfreeze it, or else it's going to delay the process. You could possibly get an automatic denial because they can't pull your credit. So keep that in mind, right? So debt utilization rate, 100% payment history, obviously. And then, obviously the 15% is your length of credit history. So I recommend having at least 4 years of history. If you have to piggyback, through a trade line, make your own decision. As far as I'm not giving you legal advice as far as that, but, find a way to have at least 4 years of history is what I would recommend, right? And these are not be all end all. At the end of the day, I'm not underwriting. They decide. I just happen to get approved, keeping these things into consideration. Inquiries, don't have too many. I don't think I didn't have more than 3 on each, right? So keep that in mind too. If you got inquiries, you should know how to remove those inquiries. We've spoke about that in several videos. Go look at my past videos, right? And then what's the last part? Credit mix. You want to make sure that you have a good credit mix. So you want to make sure, if you don't already, at least have 1 or 2 cards that have at least a $2,500 limit. If it could have at least 6 months of history, that would be ideal. These are things you want to consider before you even go into like business funding. But this Alliant card, this is a good starter card, because when I got it, I believe I only had like 2 credit cards at the time. I think I had Discover, I had Bank of America. And yeah, I didn't have too much of a foundation. So it's a good starter card. I always recommend Discover It cashback card for people that's just getting started with credit. I recommend you have at least a 700. They're gonna pull Experian in most cases. So yeah, keep that in mind. That's besides the video, but Yeah, so Alliant, you're gonna get a high limit. And one thing y'all gotta realize too, credit unions are for you, right? Whenever you see credit union, whenever you see the name credit union, Navy Federal Credit Union, Alliant Credit Union, you gotta understand that they're for you. Credit union for you, right? Because they're gonna give you that good funding. The big banks, Bank of America, all them people, all them crooks, they stingy. They run a big business. They don't necessarily want to give you the best funding in the world. So, but credit unions are going to give you the best funding in the world. So, I didn't even talk about getting into Alliant. So, I'm going to share my screen. But hold on, getting into Alliance is pretty easy. Can y'all see me? Y'all can't even comment. I'm tripping. All right. So, getting into Alliant is pretty easy. You just got to make like a $5 donation and you'll be able to get in, because a lot of times with these credit unions, they have specific things, but they have a thing where like, okay, if you want to get in, you can make a donation and you'll be able to get in. So just, make that donation. Don't be cheap and you'll be able to get in. So look, I'm on the Forbes advisor. Just for y'all information, you see on the right side over here, they have more cards. American Express Platinum, I got that card too. So they got all these cards you can look at and, you can go from there. So they were just doing a review on the Alliant card. And you see this is 2023. So they said the no annual fee Visa signature credit card. So this is a Visa signature. Remember, you're going to get a high limit. At least 10 bands is what you're going to get. It's hard to beat, and you got to meet certain requirements. If you don't mind jumping through the initial hoops, the rewards rate is stellar. Earn up to 2.5% cash back with no categories to track on up to, okay, like I said, up to 10K each billing cycle. That's what I thought it was. Everything else is 1.5%, like I said. So, okay, so they say your credit score got to be excellent. So make sure your credit score on point. Because I'm not gonna lie, my credit was on point when I applied. So obviously I didn't go through the complexities of maybe I'll get approved, maybe I won't get approved because I had everything hidden. So as long as everything's hidden, then you should be able to do what you need to do. So the main thing to understand, use these consumer laws to go ahead and get your negatives removed. And the simple fact of the matter is, y'all got to realize, like, we cater to every tax bracket. If you just don't got money, or if you just the cheapest person in the world, you just a poor person. When I say poor, you got to think about it's a mindset, it's an acronym, passing over opportunities repeatedly. Some people have money, but they just poor because it's their mindset. So if you're a poor person, you could literally watch my YouTube and figure out how to do it all for free. If you just somebody that for whatever reason you just don't have a lot of money left over, maybe you're bad with the money, maybe you're just in a financial situation that's not the best. Maybe you got too many kids because you're out here having too much sex, which is why I say sex is for poor people, right? But anyways, if you find yourself in that situation, we literally have the DIY recession repair remedy. By the end of the video, you're going to have a new credit union that you can go ahead and get to build up your credit profile. And it's not Navy Federal. You're going to be able to get a pledge loan from them the same way you can get from Navy Federal. Navy Federal is not the only credit union that's doing these pledge loans, right? So stay tuned until the end of the video. We're going to get straight into it. If you're looking for business funding, maybe for a real estate project, maybe for e-commerce, maybe for anything, whatever, right? Stay until the end of the video because the foundation is going to be your personal credit. So let's build it. So let's talk about just what a perfect credit profile looks like in the eyes of the lender. So if you're not aware, you definitely want to have a 700 plus score all across the board. You definitely want to have no negatives. You want to have a single digit utilization rate. So that means 9% or less. A lot of times they're just like, okay, have 30% and you're good to go. But you got to understand that the name of the game is maximizing your points. When we talk about minimum funding, we're talking about little money. When we talk about maximizing your funding, we're talking about big money. We're going to talk about big money today, right? I like talking about big money. If you're looking to fund that real estate project, if you're looking to fund, whatever you need to fund, you probably need big money. Big money is going to help it become better, right? So get that bag. We're going to get straight to it. So single digit utilization rates. So we want to have 9% or less. We don't want to go by the average where they say, oh, 30%. We don't want to be like that. And then on top of that too, just for example, if your cards are like maxed out, one resource you could try to apply for where they'll pay off your credit cards. It depends on how much you have, because if your cards are just like if you like over six figures in credit card debt, I don't know if it's gonna work, but you can go to Happy Money. You type that Happy Money or Meet Tally. I've spoke about it in a previous video, but you may be new, so keep that in mind. You want to have at least 4 years of average history, 4 years of average history, because your length of credit history is going to be important when it comes to getting your funding, when it comes to getting that business funding. So the way that I fund my clients when it comes to business funding, I don't do the typical build up the business credit, do the net 30s, EIN only, and all that. I'm big on using your personal as a personal guarantor. Why are we running away from using our personal credit unless we feel like we're going to do something shady with the money, right? You're going to flip or do whatever you can to make that profit, right? So don't be afraid to use your personal credit as a personal guarantee, right? So if you're in a position, I'm going to leave a link in the description. I have connections with certain lenders that will allow you to be able to maximize your funding essentially, right? So we'll talk about that later, but just a FYI, you want to have at least two credit cards that have at least $2,500 limits. Preferably, you want to have five-figure credit cards. So, for example, Navy Federal, like the Green Cash Rewards card. You know, you see a lot of people are getting 25,000 on that. Alliant Credit Union, they give high limits as well. So just do your due diligence research. Barclays gives high five-figure limits as well. So just keep in mind because there's something called comparable credit. When I say comparable credit, a lot of times what's on your personal is going to drive what you're going to get approved for on the business side. So you got to think about it from the eyes of the lender. If they're looking at your credit and they're just like, okay, this person has a $2,500 card, a second $2,500 card. You've only managed less than $3,000 on your credit cards, right? Versus somebody else, let's say they have a $25,000 card and then they have like a $15,000 card. The bank, the lender, they gonna be more willing to loan out more money to the person that has that 25,000 and 15,000. This is gonna be comparable, right? Credit is about trust. Credit is about history. So just always think about like relationship, and that's really what it is. And then you want to have at least 10 positive accounts. So that's the whole purpose of this video. If you happen to suffer from a skinny profile, because a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, I got good credit. It's just a score though, right? You can't just get away with just having a good credit score. You have to have a good credit profile, right? So this is why we want to have at least 10 positive reporting accounts. So the credit union I'm going to tell you about today, where you're going to take out a pledge loan, is going to allow you to get that additional account. So just for example's sake, let's say you have your student loans, you go ahead and get a Navy Federal pledge loan, right? You go ahead and get a pledge loan with the credit union I'm telling you to do today as well. So you're going to continue to build up, you know, those accounts that you have. You get primaries. You get primaries like you sign up for something like Boom Pay, Rent Reporters, you know, backdate your rent. So it's pretty easy to get to 10 accounts when you break it down like that. But just context for anyone that's not aware of what a pledge loan is. It's basically where you take out money based off of what you have. So like you get an account based off of what you put down. So let's say you put down $10,000. You got $10,000 in your account, like a savings account. They're going to use that as collateral. So what's going to happen is they're going to front you a loan based off of that $10,000 that you have put down. So now you owe $10,000 on that loan, but that's a five-figure loan that's open in your name. It's helping you build your credit. So now what you could do, it's really up to you. This is not legal. I said legal. This is not financial advice. I'm so used to the consumer laws. But now what happens is what you could do is you could pay off 95% of that loan. So 9,000 to 9,500 of it. So you get most of your money back. Then you just stretch out the payments for as long as you want. So stretch out the rest of the 500 to 1,000. So that's just an example of how you could use a pledge loan. And it's basically what we're talking about today. The whole purpose is to build your credit, right? So keep that in mind. You want to have a well-diverse profile. So we're going to talk about the credit union. So I'm going to share my screen. Drum roll. This credit union is called Hughes Federal Credit Union, right? Hughes Federal Credit Union. So as you see right here, savings pledge loan, earn while you borrow. So the dope thing I like about Hughes Federal Credit Union is that getting approved as far as becoming a member is different from Navy Federal. Those of y'all that know about Navy Federal, you know you have to have someone that worked in the military to get in. With Hughes Federal Credit Union, all you got to do is make a donation, So go ahead and make your donation. It's very, very affordable. And then you can go ahead and apply for the pledge loan. So I know so many people when they're talking about building credit, they're talking about, oh, go get a Navy Federal pledge loan, go get a Navy Federal pledge loan. That's cool, but I like to also give alternatives because we want to have as many reporting accounts as possible. So this is what we do with our clients for funding when we're telling them to build. If they have a skinny profile on the personal side, or if they're just going through their credit repair. So look, not a fan of dipping into your savings or pay for an expense, need to build your credit, blah, blah, blah. They're talking about the collateral, borrow what you need while still earning dividends, blah, blah, blah. So loans pledged against a savings account, as loan balance declines, the secured funds become available. So as you pay it off, it becomes available to you. So that's why I use the example of the $10,000. You put $10,000 down, you pay off maybe 9,000, 9,500 of it, and then you're paying the rest in small monthly increments, and you're able to, establish that history. I wouldn't, remember, this is not financial advice. I wouldn't recommend paying off the entire loan too quickly because you got to think about the time you want it to be open because it's building your credit, So keep that in mind. Look, they got up to 12 years. You can stretch out your payments. As the loan is paid off, secure funds become available to you. Funds can be pledged from a different person's account. Yeah, so this is Hughes Federal Credit Union. While you're watching this video, go run it up because whenever there's information that's put out, people are gonna go and apply it, right? So if you're watching this video, hopefully you're watching it early. Go ahead and sign up with Hughes Federal Credit Union and go ahead and take your credit to the next level. So that is a credit union, Hughes Federal Credit Union. So just a word before we end the video on maximizing your funding. The best way to maximize your funding is having a relationship with a bank relationship manager. So you want to have a relationship with a BRM, a bank relationship manager. What do I mean by this? I was talking about it earlier. If you just apply without a bank relationship manager, like let's say you just go apply online right now. Yeah, you can get approved, but you're gonna get higher limits if you actually know someone that's in the bank, right? It's basically like if you attend a conference as VIP versus general admission, you're gonna get treated better if you're VIP. VIP is basically having that bank relationship manager, right? I have connections with bank relationship managers in different institutions. So that's why when I get my clients funded, I'm able to get them a lot of business funding, right? High limits, right? Higher limits than if you just went and applied because they have a relationship with the underwriting. So they're able to lend out more, right? It's just like knowing somebody in the party versus you just go there and you don't know nobody. That's basically what you're doing for the most part, right? You watching this right now, you probably don't have connections with bank relationship managers. I got those connections. So that allows me and my clients to be able to get those higher limit approvals, right? So just keep that in mind. So just for example, so I obviously have I won't say obvious. I have a Chase plug. I have a Chase bank relationship manager. If you apply online by yourself, you might get 10 to 15K on a business credit card versus if you get with someone like me. I have a specific senior executive that works there, senior bank relationship manager. He works on underwriting. You could potentially get anywhere from $50,000 to $75,000 on that card, depending on how your profile is set up. This is why people that want to maximize their funding, people that are smart, that know that they don't have relationships with the bank, they tend to work with us because they understand, like, okay, if I go get 10 to 15,000 by myself, that's little money. That's not enough to fund this real estate deal that I got to do. Why don't I get with Michael and Kat so they can get me to 50 to 75,000, pay them 10%. Okay, that's 5,000 to 7,500. That's little compared to the return you're gonna get. And at the same time, these Chase Bank business credit cards are 0% interest for 12 months. What does that mean? Let's use $50,000 as an example. Let's say you get your $50,000 card because you did the smart thing. You got with us and you got through with our bank relationship manager. What's going to happen is you got 0% interest for a 12-month period. That's a whole year. So let's say you max out that card, you liquidate the card, you liquidate the $50,000, you go do what you need to do. Your monthly payment for those 12 months is only going to be $500 because there's not going to be interest on it. So after that 12-month period is done, that's when you're starting to pay more, right? But you got to think about it. If you can't make a profit within 12 months with $50,000 in that real estate deal or whatever, you need to get in a new industry. You're not a business owner. You're just meant to just go work a 9 to 5 and just do that for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. Smart people would book that call. So speaking of booking that call, if you got value from this video and your business funding ready, whether you have a new LLC, old LLC, it don't matter. If your profile is ready, you could book a call. And basically let me hold on, book a call in the description. Basically the way that it would go. So, I mean, we primarily do business funding, but we can do personal funding as well. We primarily like working with business owners because y'all are like-minded, like you understand investments, right? So the way the call is going to go is basically I would take a look at your credit profile. So don't lie on an application because you just be wasting your own time. So assuming you have no negatives, you got 700 plus across the board, you got a couple credit cards that have at least $2,500 limit. Your DTI is not too crazy, and your what's it called? Your utilization rate is single digits. Then we should be good to go. I'll get you situated. Basically, we'll go through one of my bank relationship managers and just go through the funding sequence that we utilize to maximize your funding. We'll look at your goals, what you're trying to do. Just make sure that funding is what you actually want, and it's actually gonna. It makes sense to not flip, to make a profit, right? Because I don't want to get you money and then you just use it uselessly. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully this video helps. If it did help you, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend. Also, one thing too, we do offer referral fees for people that send us for business funding. So at the time I'm recording this, it could change. At the time I'm recording this, anybody that you send us that we get funded will pay you out $1,000. So very nice way to make a passive income. If you know the economy is hard, if you're looking for any additional ways to make money, go ahead and tap in with us. So with that being said, y'all have a blessed one. I'm going to tell you about a credit union you probably haven't heard of. It's going to be able to help you build up your credit profile or just to get access to extra business funding if you need that. So watch the entire video for the credit union. This is a slept on credit union. You probably haven't heard of it. So yeah, let's get straight to it. So one thing about it, it's going to be good for personal funding and a pool experience. So that's something that's good to note, whether you building your personal profile or if you're going to just leverage to go on the business side. So this credit union is United States Senate Federal Credit Union. So I got it pulled up over here. So you'll go to the homepage. As soon as you get to the website, you see on the bottom right here, not a member, start your lifelong membership journey now. So you just click on learn more, right? Because you're going to become a member. And let's get straight to the document. So pretty much you just got to be a US citizen and you can join from any state. So that's like the requirement. As far as what you need, what you're going to need is your ID. You're going to need the mailing addresses, physical mailing address, social security number, of course, and then your date of birth. So I'm going to tell you what you want to do in order to get towards the business funding. So number one, you got to open a personal account, and a personal account is going to be a savings account. And the minimum deposit is going to be $6 because what's going to happen is there's a $5 fee and then there's a $1 fee as well. So like I said, when you go over here and you join, you can click on apply now. It says right there, how do I join? They give you information right there. So like I was saying here, minimum of $5 and you have to pay a one-time fee of $1, right? And then what we're opening, like I said, it's a savings account. So keep that in mind. That's like a required thing. Once you click on apply and you go over there, it'll show you the products. So you can have optional products, but once you open that, the next thing that I want you to open is literally a business savings account. So $6 deposit. The third thing you're going to open is going to be a business checking account. It's going to be a $500 deposit minimum, right? So Keep in mind, as you're going through this video and you're watching all my videos, I give y'all a lot of information because I want you to pick and choose what you're gonna do, right? Your credit can only continue to get beefed up, right? So if you got 9 accounts, make United States Senate Federal your 10th account on your personal side, right? If your personal is already built up, okay, go get you some business funding through United States Senate Federal Credit Union. Remember, credit unions be giving out the bag, and I'm gonna go over numbers that you can expect to see when you're going through the United States Senate Federal Credit Union. So watch my entire playlist on my channel, the funding playlist. I'm gonna put this in the funding playlist. So go through the entire playlist and just literally do what you need to do to build up your credit profile. There's no reason why y'all shouldn't know where to go build your credit if you're watching my channel. So, I love it when y'all take action. So let me know what you did and the type of approvals you're getting. After this video, you can literally pause the video and apply right now because you're applying online, right? So if it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 2 p.m., it don't matter. Just go and apply. And then one thing that's important, you're going to need all 3 to open to apply for business funding if that's your goal. If you're just focused on the personal side for building your profile, don't worry about that immediately. But that Experian pool that's going to happen is going to be good for 60 days. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So go ahead and get the products that you need within the 2-month period. So personal credit cards, you can expect to go up to about 50,000. So a high limit, of course. Personal line of credit can go up to 25,000. Business credit cards, they can go up to 50,000 as well. And then the business line of credit, you can expect it to go up to 250,000. So, $250,000 basically. So keep that in mind. So just as far as what you want to have in general, this is just typical stuff. I don't create the algorithm, call these people if you want to ask them a million questions, but this is just what I recommend to people as far as my experience getting people funding. So you want to obviously have 100% payment history. We already know that, right? You want to have at least 10 positive reporting accounts. It's not necessary, if you're using it to build, but just rule of thumb. Installment accounts can be included, student loans, personal loans, auto loans, etc. Revolving, credit cards. If you already have credit cards before you come here, dope, right? If you don't, it doesn't mean that you're guaranteed the denial, but you want to build out your profile. Don't be a slave to the credit score. It's not always about your score. So keep that in mind, right? And with the revolving credit cards, you want them to have at least $2,500 limits. Hopefully they're open for at least 6 months. Hard inquiries, I wouldn't have more than 3 or 4 on each. But just understand they become less impactful as time goes on. So this is the U.S. Senate Federal Credit Union that I want y'all to tap into, or go ahead and check it out, and see how it treats you. Your action, just keep watching my videos in the funding playlist and take action. Let me know what kind of approvals you're getting. And just remember that all of the information that I'm giving y'all, it's only as powerful as far as how y'all take it. Because you can watch my videos for entertainment if you want, right? But I'm here to help you change your situation. So you have to take action with the information. I can't force you to take action. So as you take action, that's when it's more powerful. So technically, my information is potential power, because if you don't do nothing with the information, you're just going to inherit poverty, poor, and all that, right? So keep that in mind. With that being said, y'all have a blessed one. So I applied for the Bank of America Business Advantage Cash Rewards Card. Does it show the numbers? No, don't show the numbers. Bank of America Business Cash Rewards Card. So this is a business card, and I believe they gave me 5,000. So that was 5,000 right there. Next one. Just look up these cards as I'm saying the names and then match the picture with what you're Googling. Next one is a Bank of America Business Advantage Travel Rewards Card. This one they gave me 10,000. Right, so we have 15. Next one was the Navy Federal Go Rewards Card. So if you don't know, Navy Federal Credit Union is basically a credit union that a lot of people get into. You have to have or know someone that was in the military to get into it. Those of y'all that are familiar, you know how to get into it without having someone that was in the military. I'm not gonna get into all that, but yeah. So Navy Federal Go Rewards Card. This one they gave me 7,000. So what we at right now?
7,000 plus a 15. I'm gonna do it. We're at 22,000, right? So that's 22,000. Next one, Navy Federal Cash Rewards Card. This one I like this one because a lot of times when I help clients as far as fixing their credit, I help them apply for this card and they get at least 20 to 25,000. I got 25,000 on this one. So that's at, are we at 47? Hold on, let me put the, okay, so we have 47,000 now. The next card is the American Airlines Barclays card and AA Advantage Barclays. So this one, they gave me 14,400. So that one that makes us at 61,400. And the thing about cards, I'll walk through it after I go through all the cards, but the thing about cards is you want to know why you're applying for the card. You want to know where they pull from. You want to have a function for the cards. So whether you're looking at it as like, oh, I want cash back for manufacturer spending, I want a travel card like American Express Business Platinum, etc. Speaking of the Business Platinum, that's not part of this, but you know, those of y'all that know about the Business Platinum, I got the American Express Business Platinum card as well. You know, you get free lounge access, all that. I got the business one, not the personal one. You can get personal as well, so keep that in mind. Next card, Alliant. So this is one of my favorite ones, Alliant Credit Union. And the reason why I like this one, but before I get into it, they gave me 10,000. So the reason why I like Alliant, so we're already over 70,000. The reason why I like Alliant is because you can get up to 2.5% cash back. So you got to look at it as the minimum you can get approved from Alliant Credit Union, at least when I apply, is 10,000. That's the minimum. So by default, if you understand manufacturer spending, you can max out that card, turn it credit to cash, pay back down your credit balance. You got free $250. That's how I've been personally able. I've used that card to personally be able to get free groceries, get free designer, things like that. So if you ever see me wear designer, I use free points. I never spend my money on designer. I don't think y'all should spend your money on designer. I think that's stupid. The next one, the Discover It Miles. So this one was 3,000. So the total was 74,400. So a little bit above 70,000. So the Discover It Miles card. One thing I'll say about Discover and Discover It, I always recommend to people when they don't know what cards to get. Maybe I can make a separate video on what cards I recommend that y'all should get. But I always recommend to people that don't know what cards that they should get to get the Discover It credit card, the cashback card. And the easiest thing you could do as far as Discover, what you want to do is just go Google Discover Pre-Approval. If you Google Discover Pre-Approval, it'll allow you to actually apply and see what products you could get approved for without an impact to your credit. That's the main thing, right? Because a lot of times when you apply for credit, you're going to get a hard inquiry. A hard inquiry is going to be held against you as far as points. But the thing about hard inquiries is that you got to understand how to remove the hard inquiry, especially if you get denied. If you get denied, it means that it's not going to be an open account on your credit, meaning you can delete it, right? And I've had separate videos on my YouTube if you don't know on how to remove like any inquiry, whether it's TransUnion, Experian, or Equifax. Experian is the easiest, you just call them. But I already gave y'all the sauce on how to remove Equifax and TransUnion as well on my TikTok, my podcast, YouTube, all that, right? So if you're new to me, you got a lot of homework to do as far as, you know, navigating my profile or navigating my YouTube. So yeah, keep that in mind. So yeah, like what I was saying, so that's how I got approvals of upwards of 70,000. And you know, some of those are high limits, some of those are low limits, but I just wanted to give y'all a variety of cards. And the thing about it is, like I said, y'all could apply for all these cards on y'all own, but the thing is you got to understand that certain banks, some of these banks, you want to apply for in a certain sequence, because some of them care about inquiries, some don't. What does that tell you? That means you got to understand a certain sequence of how to apply for the cards. This is why people hire us to, you know, get funding for them, because we know the correct sequence. Let's say you go through it and you apply for one of these cards, you mess up the whole sequence because you didn't do it in the correct order. This is why it's important to have the knowledge and information on how to actually do it, right? So you can do your due diligence, or you could just hire us if you want to get in contact with us. You can just comment funding down below. We'll get y'all the information. And yeah, you could book the consultation, all that. But the thing is, like I said, you gotta have the 100% payment history. You gotta know what you're doing. Let me turn on the fan. Hold on, man. It's getting hot in here. Let me take a little aloe vera break. I like this aloe vera juice. I don't know if y'all have seen this, but it's a mango flavor. Make sure you wash it off with some water. Make sure you're getting your water. You gotta get your water. The thing about credit too, I'm talking about all this credit stuff. All this credit stuff don't matter if my life ain't where it's supposed to be as far as like my health, right? You see, I'm drinking water. Make sure y'all getting y'all gallon a day. If you follow me on social media, you know I'm always going to the gym, making sure my body is right, making sure my spirituality is right, making sure, you know, I'm one with God, you feel me? So y'all gotta really make sure that all aspects of your life is good when it comes to your credit, when it comes to applying for anything, right? So yeah, just keep that in mind. So, like I said, you can do a Discover pre-approval. Just Google Discover pre-approval, and then it'll show you the products that you can actually apply for, that you can actually qualify for. And then from there, you can just apply right away if you qualify for certain products. A lot of my first-time clients, as far as funding, I always tell them, go put a Discover pre-approval, see what you get approved for, get the Discover It cashback card. Now you can start getting manufacturer spending. Let's say you got a $5,000 card. 1% cashback over here. They allow you to get 5% cashback on revolving categories. So you can look up the information, do your due diligence on that. But, you know, I do this credit stuff, so it's just stuff that I know as far as Discover. So, yeah, that's what you can do. And then as far as these cards, the Navy Federal Cash Rewards card, the green one, is probably one of my favorites because, like I said, I got a $25,000 limit with them. So you can literally max out the card as far as manufacturer spending. Once you max it out, that's I think it's like $300 something in cashback, right? It's 1.5% cashback that they give you. If you do direct deposit, you can get up to 1.75% cashback. So, you know, that's an additional finesse. And then what else I like? I told y'all I like the Alliant Visa Credit Union card, $10,000 card, 2.5% cashback. So me, I like cashback cards, and the card that I use as far as travel is the Amex Business Platinum. So I just want y'all to really be aware of what you want as far as funding, right? You got to understand what you want. Hopefully this video brought you value. If it brought you value, make sure you share it with somebody, share it with your family, make sure they get to the next level as far as credit as well, educate them, send this video to someone. I gave y'all so many cards you can go and apply for, you can go and get approved for. The easiest approval, like I would say, Discover pre-approval. If you qualify for a card, go ahead and apply for it. If you're building your credit, you might have to get the Discover student one if you're a student as well. So some of y'all may be young watching me. So keep that in mind. Man, at the end of the day, just take this credit thing as, you know, one day at a time. You know, you'll get better as you are consistent. And yeah, with that being said, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. With that being said, y'all have a blessed one.
Let's talk about a bank that's like Navy Federal. You're going to get them high limits. Let's get straight to it. It's First Tech Federal Credit Union. I want y'all to build up your credit profile as good as possible. A lot of people know about Navy Federal, so I just want to give y'all this so you can go ahead and get some diversity on your profile. So it's good for personal funding. Like I said, just starting off, if you're just building your credit, if you just want to position yourself to be able to eventually get that good business funding. The beautiful thing about them is they pull Experian. So let's say that your TransUnion isn't as good. You're not able to go ahead and get that Navy Federal right away. Or even if it is good, you can go to Experian knowing that First Tech Federal Credit Union is going to give you high limit approvals like Navy Federal. So let's talk about how we would even get access to something like this. So you want to have 100% payment history, like usual. You want to have at least 10 positive reporting accounts. So these are accounts in your name. I'm not talking about authorized user trade lines, and then you'll just got a skinny profile, right? So you want to have accounts that are actually in your name. You feel me? So installment accounts can include student loans, personal loans, auto loans, etc., right? Because y'all got to look at credit as like trust. So think about it, right? If you're somebody you have like no history of trust, why would the bank even trust you to give you money? You know, so you want to make sure that you're building out a good credit profile. Revolving accounts can include credit cards. You want them at least $2,500 limits. When we go to First Tech Federal Credit Union, it's not crazy for us to get a $25K card approval, just like you can at Navy Federal. So at least $2,500 limit when we're looking at structuring a good profile. We want at least 6 months of history. That's the caveat when it comes to like if you just got a new personal credit card or if you just had an established personal credit card. And I'm talking about this because I'm positioning y'all for being able to get those high limits on business funding as well. Because I know business funding is a sexy term. We actually help people get access to business funding. So I just want to give y'all that too, just to keep that in mind. And then hard inquiries. Make sure you don't have more than 3 to 4 on each. That's my recommendation. But one thing you got to understand, I've gotten people funding where they had more than the 3 to 4 because over time they became less impactful. So the amount of time that you had those hard inquiries matters as well. So keep that in mind too. So just speaking about funding in different institutions, when we talk about national banks, we're talking about like Chase, we're talking about Bank of America. I just want to give y'all just wide range of funding to know what you can look for when you're going to get your funding. A regional bank is like Key Bank. And then, of course, we have Credit Union, which is like Navy Federal Credit Union. And then obviously First Tech Federal Credit Union. So this is what the website look like when you go over there. I'm going to talk about how to become a member in a little bit, but it's just like the others. Like you make a little donation or whatever, and then you in there. So if you go to borrow, you click on that, you see all their products right here, right? I don't work at these banks. So what you can do, you can literally go to the website, start doing your own research. And then you know what's so super dope that you can do? You can literally call these banks and ask them all the questions in the world that you want to ask them. Don't ask me a million questions in my comments. You can ask me some questions. Maybe, I'll get to it and maybe I'll know the answer. But if you're asking super, super specific stuff, you're going to want to make sure that you actually call the bank. Pick up the phone and call them, right? Don't be weird. Like literally call these people, ask them all the questions you want till 3 a.m., however long, you want to ask all your questions. So you see the credit cards here. It's not crazy for you to get a 25K limit, like I said. And then I would recommend getting a personal line of credit as well, because you might get 25K on that as well. Make sure you have at least a 680. So keep that in mind. I want y'all to make sure y'all build y'all credit. I want y'all to get these approvals, right? If you haven't heard about our mission statement, my mission basically is to help fund $1 billion to small business owners. I know this is a personal side, but every type of funding leads towards that business funding. So I'm hoping someone takes action, right? I'm hoping y'all take action with the information. Don't be lazy as shit and not do nothing with my information. You feel me? Like, don't disrespect the information. Don't disrespect the time. Obviously this is my job. I get paid to, do what I'm doing here as we're building these relationships, as we're working on nurturing y'all and all that to get into our services and all that. But at the end of the day, I want y'all to take action on information. The reality, it's not personally going to affect me whether you die poor or not, right? Let's just keep it 100, right? But it makes it dope when you're able to change the life of those around you. You feel me? So hopefully you take action. If you take action, if you don't take action, life goes on, right? Life goes on for me. I'm still going to go back to living my life and go to sleep after I record this video. I'm still going to go to the gym. I'm still going to do all that. So keep that in mind. That's my little commercial break. To qualify, you got to be an employee of a partner company, contractor for partner company, employee of state of Oregon, or what most of y'all going to do, just join the association that they recommend to you. So they'll cover your first year at the time I'm recording it. So yeah, make sure you or your client has at least a 680. So you might be watching this. Maybe you're looking in terms of how to fund your clients, right? Because a smart person would be like, okay, I'm watching Michael. He's giving out all this game. This is information I can use to go ahead and monetize, maybe do it for my family for free. And then now I start doing it for clients and stuff like that. So maybe you're watching this video, you're not even doing it for yourself. So keep that in mind. Like I said, I've seen 25K credit card approvals as well as 25K line of credit. So it's not uncommon if your credit is structured the way I'm telling you to structure it. Make sure your file's unlocked as well. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to include a screenshot here just to say we have a community. It's called Cat Credit University, and it's $39 a month at the time I'm recording this. Basically, I made a post over there, and I was just letting them know about it. So I say that to say, if you like information like this, where I'm keeping you updated on stuff to build your credit, stuff to get funding, I post way more sauce in the Cat Credit University, and it's only $39 a month, right? If you're not willing to make like an investment in your life of just $39 a month, which is that, what is that? Like, is that $1.30 a day? No, it's gonna be less than that. So it's about $1 a day essentially. If you like not willing to make that type of investment in yourself, then I really don't know what to say to you or, your loved ones, because your loved ones could potentially be living a better life if you invest in yourself and take action on information I'm saying. At least, like, if you're not going to invest in yourself, at least start with the free information I'm putting out right here, right? So make sure you go and get tapped in with First Tech Federal Credit Union, or make sure your client gets tapped in with First Tech Federal Credit Union. So keep that in mind. I posted this in the university. I'm always posting game in the university. So it's like when you choose to put yourself in a different environment, that's going to help you get to the next level. Your life is just going to be better. That's just how life works. So if you want to join our community, you can join our community for only $39 a month. At the time I'm recording this, the link will be in the description. If you don't want to join, that's cool too. I hope you at least take action on the free information. With that being said, y'all have a blessed one.